All right, welcome, you guys. This is Rodney Robinson, National Teacher of the Year,
What
Virginia
up?
State. Yes, Virginia State alumni, and also alumni of this
King
city.
Royal County, baby.
Yeah, yeah. I dug
So
in
deep
the
in the
grave.
crate.
Right. This is my former classmate. It's an honor to actually speak to someone and have known them this long and say I
Yeah.
honestly love you, bro. Like, if
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Love you too, man.
yes, it's amazing everything that's happened to you. It's been a whirlwind trip. So,
Yeah, man.
National Teacher of the Year. You were a teacher at a what I understand to be a juvenile detention center.
It's jail, man. They try to make it politically correct with juvenile detention center. It's a juvenile jail, man.
All right, so in this environment, I mean, no, but let's call a thing because this is actually
Yeah.
probably what we need right now
Yeah.
is honesty in what we're talking about. And the kids you're talking about that you teach, they
Yeah.
are yeah, they're at the last chance thing. Well, they've already
Yeah. Pretty
expired
much.
on their last chance. Yeah.
Yeah. A third of them have already been convicted. The other two-thirds are awaiting trial. So
Wow.
it's a jail.
Wow. So what brought you to like as a teacher or whatever, like I understand the desire to want to work in your community and work with, you know, people that look like us. What brought you there?
To the jail was just like you said, I had the desire to work with us, but honestly, before I was at the jail, I was at Armstrong High School, and same environment. And to be honest, 1,500 kids out there,
Armstrong
man.
is not a jail, just to be clear.
I'm sorry, same environment.
It's
I'm sorry. I should have
Trust me,
cleared that up. It is not a jail. This is school. I actually love that place, man. That
right,
place is
love
my heart.
Armstrong. Shout out to
You
Armstrong.
know, but the problem is working at a place like that for 12 years, I was burned out. So I
Yeah.
still wanted to work with, at Promise. At Promise, I don't like the term at risk. And
Hmm.
so my friend, she was principal down at the jail, and she called me and asked me to come down there, and I was like, I don't really know about that one. But then, but then that's when Department of Education, the old one, the good one, not the current one we have now. That's when they that's when they dropped that report about the school to prison pipeline, and it said Virginia was the number one state in referring students to jail. So I was like, you know what? That's my sign, man. I could read about it and talk about it, but nothing beats field experience. So I
Yeah.
just went down there, and it was just, I mean, it's love, man. It's a good. I actually like it. People say it's a rough environment, it's this and that, but you will never build the type of relationships, at a comprehensive school that you do the jail.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's amazing. So as a national teacher of the year, you've been away from those duties for a year now.
yeah, yeah.
What is it that what have you been doing for a year? What do they have you doing?
It's Miss America, man. That's exactly what it is. It's Miss America. People put in requests for me to come speak, and then I decide, is this worthy of my time? Is this worthy of my platform? And then I just
Excuse
go and
me.
speak. I mean, let's be real, man. I'm not, I'm not going to speak to a bunch of people who are just not going to listen. My
Right.
message is specific, and it's not to be heard. Well, it should be heard by everybody, but I'm not going to waste my time preaching it to people who don't want to hear it.
And what
And
is
so
what has that message been?
well, it's clearly it's economic equity. We need proper funding for the proper schools to make sure kids have the resources when they need them. We always know that property taxes that fund education leads to vast inequities of resources. And then the other message is cultural equity. We need more teachers in education that look like us. It's 80% white teachers and 50% students of color. We need to get those numbers a little more in balance.
Yeah, that definitely studies have shown that when you have that diversity in your teaching staff, then people learn better. Uh,
Yeah.
so yes,
It's just the
anything we can do to
culture of high expectations. That's what it
I
is.
think it's
And
something. It's hard to be discriminatory when you got everybody in the room. When
yes,
everybody's in the
yes.
room, it's like you have to be considerate of everyone. So
And
yeah,
then I heard one sister from Minnesota. She said this, and it struck me. It was like imagine how less racist white kids would be if they had teachers of color in the classroom. If they got to see the humanity of black people every day, then that would kill all the stereotypes and beliefs that they have or that they are learning in their environment. So everybody benefits from having teachers of color.
You know what? I think one of the things I try to do when I interview people is ask them about their educational origin story. I feel ridiculous. I feel like I was right there. I was right there. I was in
Yeah,
like I saw you
yeah,
in elementary and in high school and in college or whatever
yes.
at every level. But from your perspective, what things did you experience? I know as far as the only black male teacher that I had, Mr. Calvin Sorrell.
Sorrel, shout out Sorrel. Yes, sir.
Right, the
I
band
actually
teacher.
did an event 2 months ago when he actually came, and I got emotional and just talking to him, speaking that truth in front of him of what
It's
he
so
actually
deep.
meant to us. You know what
Yes.
I mean? I literally got emotional, talking
Yeah,
about it. That's the man,
yeah,
man.
I feel you. I was he was the only one.
He's the
It was an
only
art
one.
teacher at some point in time for a little bit
Yeah,
at elementary school, but I remember Sorrell. He
yeah,
drew all the young black kids to band
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
like I just want
Every,
I got to try something. I'm gonna try
yeah.
saxophone. I'm gonna do some drum. I'm gonna do something just to be here,
Some here.
be a part of
Yeah.
the culture.
Then right after y'all graduated, then Mr. Dr. Lewis came in. He was a assistant principal in my 12th grade. You remember all that stuff that went down your junior year, with
I
some of
look,
your
you're
classes.
being way too inside ballpark right there.
well, there was some
There are people watching
discriminatory.
this.
I'm sorry, but there was just some discriminatory things that happened your senior year.
Uh-huh.
So to fix that, they brought in Dr. Lewis, who was the assistant principal my senior year, and I mean he was the man.
See,
He was just
I
that
never
cool
knew him
brother.
like that. Right? He came
He's
after.
actually the reason. He's the reason I ended up at Virginia State. Real talk. I tell
Not
this story
Sorrell,
all
because
the time.
Calvin Sorrell also went
Yes,
to Virginia
yes.
State
Virginia
University.
State, yeah. But I remember I tell this story a lot with Dr. Lewis. I remember I got in trouble in Spanish class for, acting the fool and cutting up, you know. And I went to his office and he sat there and talked to me about Virginia State for like an hour, man.
That's
Real
deep.
talk. Just talked to me for like an hour about Virginia State, told me how it would help me, told me about CIAA, fraternities, homecoming. I mean, straight hour. And so then he gave me 5 days in school, dickhead. But
On top of
on top of that,
that, smack you with
no,
that.
but before he came down to in school each day, he helped me fill out the application, financial aid, all
He
that
had
stuff.
you doing the applications in school suspension.
In school, he showed up,
That's all
filled the
right.
application out, sat down with me, did the financial aid, filled out applications for scholarships. You
Wow.
know what I mean? That was that moment, man. He
Wow.
knew I needed that because, be real, nobody in my family had really gone. My brother had went, but like his process was completely different than mine because he had a scholarship, and
Mhm.
so mine was different. And so he just helped me navigate that whole process. And like I said, I'm forever grateful to them two brothers, man. Sorrell
Yeah.
and Dr. Lewis. They're the reason I'm where I'm at today.
Wow. Yeah. Respect to those people who joined education. You know, to represent the squad,
Yes.
the minority team. All right.
I'm still tripping off. I'm still tripping off that gym shirt, man. Where you?
You don't even know, yo. I'm a pack rat. I got look. I got that. I got. I'm here. I'm ready. I said I was gonna be Virginia State and King William County up.
Yes.
I got
Yes.
my educate. I got a VSU button in this joint. All right.
Yes.
Education, not deportation.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's a message for the masses.
Because I was on the call with some state officials yesterday, and I got the Virginia State flag behind me, and the VCU dean was on the call because I got my master's from VCU. He was like, he needed to give me a VCU flag. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, but you got to understand, without Virginia State, there would never been a VCU. So I'm always going to
Right.
represent state first.
So we're in the middle of a pandemic, and that is
Yeah,
definitely a point that we probably should talk about. Uh,
yeah,
I know that from my experience that many of the teachers, I also teach, what'd you say, not at risk, at promise.
Yes,
I also
no
teach a
problem.
at promise population, and the moving of everything to online classes
Yeah,
has only exacerbated the problems that we have in the classroom in terms of like access. It's an issue of equity. You might hear one of my kids get yelled at in the background.
it's all
Um,
good.
what do you see for us moving forward and, with everything? It looks like the coronavirus will be a part of our life for the next year or two. We may be doing this online education
Yeah.
and yeah, what is it that you're seeing as like things that we could do to like ease that problem?
Well, well, I really like what my district is doing because, the school is closed every day. So they are having money saved from just not running the daily operations of the school. And so he's taken that money and he's brought, I think, 10,000 laptops to
Mm,
distribute to all the students. And then I think another corporation donated money for 10,000 Chromebooks. So that's 20,000, technology items in a district of 24,000 kids. So he's done a
right.
really good job of taking advantage of this to get the one-to-one technology initiative. And also he's been giving out hotspots to the kids. But we're lucky. We're a district that got lucky. I know some districts, they can't even find their kids.
Yeah.
I'm talking to some of
Yeah.
my teachers. They haven't talked to certain
Yeah.
one of
I
my
got
teachers
some
in
on
Texas.
IG. I can find them
Yeah,
there, but I can't find. I'm trying to like catch them. I catch them in
yeah,
somebody else's post, and I hit them there.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, you're in a picture with them. I'm like, get them to sign on to my class.
Yeah, yeah, and then on top of that, teachers they aren't trained to do online learning, so they're figuring it out as they go. And specifically my kids, they're on
Mhm.
24-hour lockdown.
Wow.
No visitors in and out, and
Wow.
so they're getting zero education. So you want to talk about inequities? Let's talk about my kids. They haven't seen a teacher since or any education since March the 11th.
Are
You
people
know,
doing the things necessary to keep them safe and like?
no.
Oh wow.
In our facility in Richmond, yes. But in the big state facility, I think they said they had 25 kids out of 200 that have tested positive. And I believe
Mm.
if you're saying 25, you really had 50,
Right.
And so they're not keeping them safe. And so it's just a giant mess. I feel that, our governor needs to step that up, let kids out. The ones that are nonviolent, those that can be released without serving the public safety
Mhm.
problem. But I mean, they're not being protected, and that's been a major worry of mine.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's
Yeah.
terrible. Um, so so what do you think they could be doing in those facilities to make it safer?
I mean, the same problem we have nationwide is testing. We need to
Mm.
start testing the people, testing the workers,
Because
sort
once
of
you know, you can isolate, test and test.
isolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have the workers who are going back and forth to home, and who knows who they're contacting when they're leaving and coming back. And so I remember it started off maybe 3 weeks ago. One person had it in the facility, and they said this person had zero contact with kids. But then 2 weeks later, 20, well, even that be true. That could have been a secretary or someone who works up front. But everybody has to come by the secretary to get into the back part of the building.
Right.
And so they spread it. And so now they say 25 kids have it. And
Right. That
so,
is. Yeah.
and
The
then they're not letting their parents that can't get in contact with the kids that are there. And so
right.
it's just worrisome, really worrisome.
Yeah. I feel like problems like the mass incarceration issue,
Yeah,
the uh, the incarceration of people at the border, and and uh,
yes,
and those camps. These things, it feels like they are almost unintentional. Like we kind of looked up and it's like, what? We got people in the border and can't like I don't remember voting for that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
yeah, but this is kind of like a natural offshoot of our inability to do immigration reform and our
yes,
inability to actually come to a consensus on these things. So it forces us to these gray areas where we can
yeah.
lock people away so we don't have to think about it anymore.